Super Dave here with another review.
Super Dave here with another Thundercats villain review. That's right, today we're looking at Mongor, and there is a slip cover on this one. This was the wave before they stopped doing the slip covers. And wow, he's looking very tune accurate. He's looking cool. You see his accessories in there, hands and head sculpt and some of the things. Wow. Looking cool, this Mongor. And then there is that awesome artwork on the back. And then there's that bio card if you'd like to pause and read a little information about Mongor. All right, let's go ahead and break open this anticipated Thundercats villain and check him out over at Snake Mountain, where he will join some of the other villains. This evil villain of Third Earth has come to visit the ranks of evil at Snake Mountain.
Deep inside the valley of Snake Mountain, down below, beyond where evil resides, many villains gather to welcome their newest arrival, the newest evil villain to come on the scene. It is Mongor. Looking like the devil himself. So let's first take a look at his accessories.
And first, our Mongor comes with 3 sets of hands. He comes with this set that has a pointer finger and a balled up fisted hand. Comes with a set of gesturing, clawing, open palm style hands and 2 that are gripping hands. All of these hand sets are horizontally hinged. He comes with 2 head portraits. One where he's gritting his teeth and looking straight ahead with all his purple mane flowing from his hair and his chin, and he is ready for action. And then he comes with one where he has lost his mind with anger and has charged even his horns with electrical charges, which these are removable, these little charges here. But he's looking wild. His pupils have gotten so small they've disappeared, and he's lost his soul with anger. That's what it reminds me of. And then he comes with this unreal reaper, this reaping staff, this long black wooden style staff with a silver damaged style metal-ish looking blade with a flame effect attached, looking like it's on fire, ready to devour someone who stands in his way. It is none other than Mongor. And now let's take a look at his articulation. All right, bringing our Mongor in even closer here. Just take a look at that flame effect on that Reaper. It's so cool. We're causing smoke. These things are burning. They're smoking. These accessories are. So you see how long that staff is. It goes way down all the way there. And then this is removable. This staff piece is removable. Just kind of unhook it there and you can peel it right off, but I'm going to leave it on there because I like how it sits on there. But that is so cool, and his hands are very tight, so you do have to heat up those hands with a hair dryer before you'll be able to put it in that horizontally hinged weapon holding hand, either right or left. See, I've equipped one of the clawing hands, just really nice detailed there with those fingernails and just the big thickness of that hand. He just has a lot of cool accessories as far as his hands and his weapon and his head sculpts. Unfortunately, because all this is super hard, I mean, this is some hard rubber or resin or something, right here. It is, matter of fact, it's sharp. Don't hurt your fingers. I mean, and look at all this mane back here. It's shaped to fit over the back and shoulders, but it is hard, very difficult to maneuver. I mean, these hair pieces on the end are literally sharp. They could puncture your skin. So you're gonna get virtually no head articulation except for maybe looking to the left and looking to the right just slightly there like that. You're not really going to be able to look down or up unless you use the articulated diaphragm. You'll be able to look up a little bit that way, and you'll be able to, still hard to look down because of the way his pupils are set, but you can use that diaphragm, and he has a generous diaphragm. We'll look at that in just a moment. We'll turn this head just a little bit. He will get full 360 with those shoulders, and also he's able to get, let's see, yeah, right at 90 degrees T-pose there. He does have bicep swivel. He has a single jointed elbow, which both sides have that rotating elbow feature. We already said horizontally hinged and swivel at the wrists. So good articulation with these arms for the most part, based on, you know, what we typically see with a classic style figure. And it has that classic style hinge, but it's very well hidden here. You don't hardly even see it at all, which is what we saw in the product shots, and it's nice to see they delivered on that. But he will crunch forward a really good amount there, and he will bend back, not a whole lot, just slightly, just enough maybe to look up a little bit, as you can see there. So that is really cool. And he will turn at the waist, and that's well hidden by this scoop waistline here where he can turn. It's not a ball joint, but he can turn, and that is really nice that he'll be able to get that. So we don't get any kind of ability to bend side to side, which would have been nice if they could have figured out a way to put a ball joint up in here, because that's like a covering there, and they could have covered that up. Look at the little tail on the back that's part of that almost skirt-like over piece that canopies around the waistline and through the back. You see the hair going up the back. Just really cool detail. This purple figure, very muscular, very hairy. It's kind of like the way he looked on the cartoon, but a little bit more detail maybe than what we saw in the cartoon, the animated Thundercats series in 1985. And 86, but just really good. All right, moving on to these legs. He's not going to be able to go more than about right there because it begins to hit that skirt type piece, that overlay piece that I'm talking about there. But you know, that's probably enough. He's going to be able to kick about that much. He's going to be able to go back all the way just about there. He does have the thigh rotation. He's got single jointed knees with the rotation at the knee. He's got the ability to go full tiptoes with those claws, almost like gargoyle style, you know, quality, with a big ball joint, which is nice. Goes up all the way. Just check that out. Even has a peg hole in the bottom, but also gets excellent rockers too. And so really firm foundation. So you're going to be able to get some good poses out of this guy because of how awesome his feet will stand without problems with him falling, and you'll be able to get him some dynamic posing, I believe, even with some of the limitations of the articulation compared to double jointed and all that. But we have pinless everything here, and everything looks really nice and seamless. Super 7's been doing a really good job with making things look seamless, and this guy's no different. Let's look at the other head sculpt. Man, this guy is just such high quality and well built, and you could just really pose him out. He's just looking cool all the way around, and you can see those attachments that go on his antlers, I'm sorry, horns, are not that orange flamish, you know, looking color like we saw in the product shots. That is one complaint. I don't know if they're glow in the dark, we'll check. But in the product shot, there's a picture of it there. His antler or horns effect pieces there were like an orange type color, and you have to kind of just work with them. They have kind of a special way of going on each one, because you can see, like for instance, there's a little cutout. There's a little cutout right there to pop the horn in, and then these bottom pieces kind of wrap around the horn. on each one, so they're different for each side, and they kind of fit. I looked at the product shots actually just to figure out how to put it on, and that's where I discovered, hey, these aren't the right color. But we're talking about basically the same thing. No ability to look up or down. He will look left and right a little bit. Would have been neat if we could have got an articulated mouth, but we didn't. But there's that look with him like yelling and angry and meaning business, man. I tell you what, I mean business. It's the struggle is real, trying to steal some souls around here. But that's this guy, he is definitely cool looking, but I prefer the other head sculpt personally. But this one is definitely awesome too. I will tell you also that in order to get those head sculpts on and off, I did have to use the hair dryer to heat it up. I mean, it is so sharp, it will hurt your fingers. But if you heat up this head with the hair dryer just for a few seconds, it will soften everything up, and you can pop it off, and then you can heat up the ball joint up inside the yelling head and pop it on. So be very careful, because you can hurt your finger. I've got a hole right there where one of the places dug into me. I mean, you could easily tear up your fingers trying to get this head off and on. All right, now let's do some comparisons. And here we are to look at some excellent comparisons in this Super 7 Ultimates line. We have Poomra, we have Mumra the Ever-Living next to our Mongor. There's Rataro. Monkeyin back there. Up front is the tiny little Pipsqueak, Captain Shiner. And then we have Slithe. Yes. And even our Whiplash back there, New Eternia Whiplash, with his helmet and his torch lighting the way over here. But man, these are just looking phenomenal. I have to say that Rataro and Mongor seem to be among the most high quality, the best quality of any of the Ultimates that I've seen so far. I mean, just touching him, Mongor, the quality of his plastic and just the overall feel of everything compared to even Mumra here seems a little higher quality. That's just, how I judge it and determine it based on just, overall how he seems to just measure up and feel and look. But all of these are just so cool. Just such an awesome collection of villains. We have mutants, we have mercenaries, we have leaders and diabolical plotters like Rataro. We have godlike, little g of course, power and evil and sorcery like with Mumra. And then of course Poomra technically is just Mumra in disguise, but I just like him so much that I have him as a side of evil on one side as Poomra, and then another one I bought two so I could have one that's on the good guy side that could just be a resident of Third Earth that came later, kind of like they pretended in that episode. But anyway, you can watch my video on those. And this Mongor, and here is Mongor next to Scareglow. Both of these feed off of others' fear, and Mongor has some powers that are very convenient for him to go after Lion-O and the Thundercats. He can shoot lasers from his eyes. He can shoot flames from his mouth, as you see illustrated here. I will get you, Lion-O! You can't resist my power. I feel your fear. And he's immune to fire. And so this guy is, like I said, he's like the devil himself. And he has come forth out of the pits from below to terrorize Third Earth, and he's very powerful. He is very powerful. Just look at that face. He is ready as he breathes fire. And that fire effect I got there, that is actually from my golden axe dragon, the blue dragon that came with Tyrus Flare. And that is an awesome flame effect, so you can see how cool that looks with him being able to throw the fire out. But you could also use some fire effects that came with Storm Collectibles, other figures that have the stand or whatever. But that's one of the Dragon Ball Z, I believe, flame effects in the background. It came in like blue and red, and I got the yellow orange kind of color. But then when you put a light behind it, it looks like flame. And then I've got some other random flame effects around that to give it, just flesh it out. But here he is, looking cool here. Awesome. That flame effect is one he came with his sickle or sickle or something like that. Psycheth. I don't know how you say that. But anyway, you know, the whole devil image, like the pentagram, that's almost kind of what his face and head are shaped like, and just even his powers. He's almost like a devil style character. And I know, you know, people make fun of it, and you may lose me on this here, but or I may lose you on this one, but I believe the Bible. I believe the Bible is God's word, and I believe that hell is real. And even though I enjoy playing with, you know, the good versus the evil and the Motu lure, I believe in a real devil. One of the, you know, top tricks of the enemy is to cause people not to believe in God or himself, because if they don't believe in him, they won't fear him. But if you're in God, if you have Christ, Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you don't have to fear the devil because he's under your feet. In other words, because of Christ's conquering work to defeat Satan on the cross, we have victory, so we don't have to fear him. But someone had to pay the price. And Jesus came. God sent his son Jesus, John 3:16. If you're a wrestling fan, you know the 3:16 part, but John 3:16 is the real deal. He loved us so much that he gave his only begotten son, Jesus. Jesus came perfect, sinless, never had sinned, and he gave his life. He paid the price. He paid the fine. He served the time so we could go free. We're guilty of sin. Jesus is not. But he paid the price for us. The Bible says he became sin for us. So praise the Lord. There's my sermon for this time. Let's go ahead and look at some other comparisons before we go to photo gallery. And here's our Mongor going against He-Man and Lion-O here, looking amazing. Just check that out. He's ready. He is an awesome villain. He's tall. He's menacing. He is taller than Lion-O. We'll look at that side by side here in just a second, but just take a look at that. That's looking so cool. They are looking amazing here together. Just so awesome. That flame effect on that sickle, or that whatever you'll call it. I called it a reaper earlier, but it's called something else. But that is just so neat. So cool. Just take a look at that. And here you can tell just how much taller he is than Lion-O. So that looks really good. You can make that work. I like that. You can see that He-Man, our Revolution He-Man, and our Lion-O are looking up at him. But he will not look down at them unless you bend that abdomen forward. That's just because his head will not move at all, like we talked about. But that's the reason I don't have him looking at him. So for this, photo, it would have been better if he could have, been looking at them. But when they're at a distance, I just wanted to get them close together here so you could really see just how much taller he is than Lion-O. And that's all of them standing at their peak level of height. They're all straightened out, so you can see just how much larger. So that is good. I mean, at first I was like, well, he was really tall, which he could grow based on the cartoon. He could grow, to become bigger. But if you're thinking, that, but I mean, he's already bigger than him by at least, counting his horns, by at least 2 inches. I would say close to it. Let's go ahead and measure him just to get it done. All right, so let's go ahead and measure in our Mongor here. Try to get as close to him as I can. He is right at 8 3/4, so just 1/4 of an inch to being 9 inches at the top of the horns. So that's pretty good. I mean, you know, and of course Lino, he is, I get around the rocks, he is 7 inches at the top of his mane, at the top of his hair there. So, you know, like I said, almost 2 inches taller, and that's pretty close, and so that's cool. That's a good height. I like that. So they got the height, I would say, the scale right in this wave for the Mongor and the Ritaro and stuff. But you know, that next wave with Captain Shiner and even Alluro, they just were a little bit on the short side. They should have made Alluro at least the height of this guy right here, so he towered over everybody. But anyway, looking awesome. Fear us. Yes, fear us. Ah, there we are. It's Mongor, and thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. Hope you will come back and see us again next time. Enjoyed this one. Mongor is awesome, along with all these villains that Super 7 has given us for the Ultimates line, and hope to see you next time. Be blessed. All right, here's an after the video kind of to show you that I took those little effect pieces that go on his horns and I painted them with some orange and red paint that I had here, just kind of just smeared a little bit on here and there. It's still translucent, even though you can't really tell here it is. I didn't paint it like all the way through or several coats or anything, but it added that flair, kind of like you saw in the product shots. And there's a picture of that product shot again, just to give you an idea. But there's Mongor in all of his glory with everything. He's got his sickle reaper thing. I got some flame effects that I have laying around with other figures that I've combined here, and then the little effect pieces for his horns that I put on there. I think it looks cool. That's really neat. They're charged up and ready, and by the way, they're not glow in the dark. I tried that. Even though they look like it, they are not. But this is cool. Check it out. Even Mumra approves. We'll see you in the photo gallery coming up now.